After doing so many times, I've led the rally now 3 times. I've finished second 2 or 3 times, but I've never been able to keep it all together to win the rally. So maybe this is the year.
Obviously, you haven't won the event so far, but I think this weekend things are looking pretty well, and we hope everything will be better than it's gone for the previous 4 years.
Probably doing a drop of rain for this car.
I would just hope that the spectators and everybody concerned, will have a lot of sense this weekend.
Of traditional Donegal sunshine, Billy Coleman heads the 100 or so competitors off the starting ramp for the Formula Shell Donegal International Rally, with instructions to give the big BMW a reasonably gentle start to the event. In contrast to Coleman's 4 previous wins here, Austin McHale has never won the Donegal and is determined that this will be his year. Bertie Fisher from Fermanagh is another driver looking for his first victory. With Vincent Bonner, he's a past winner. Behind him, Donegal men John Connor and James McDade. And so to the action. And on stage 1, Coleman and Morgan seem to be going well, with the BMW sounding much better than it did on the circuit of Ireland. Austin McHale has quickly found his form as he hangs the Manta's tail out. But it's Bertie Fisher who's the quickest of the lot, and he's spectacular too. Vincent Bonner and Seamus McGettigan aren't far off the pace, though occasionally the Ascona's tail seems to have a mind of its own. But it's John Connor from Downings who's third fastest behind Fisher and McHale. Letterkenny man James McDade is another 8 seconds behind him. On stage 2, Coleman is raising quite a dust storm. That's causing vision problems for the rapidly closing McHale. In fact, McHale's Manta is losing valuable time behind the slow pace of the BMW. Behind them both, Fisher too is having problems with the dust. At 120 miles an hour on a long straight, he can barely see the end of his bonnet. Vincent Bonner is trying hard to put last year's much televised accident behind him. He lies 4th. James McDade shares 6th place. With Charlie Donnelly from Macará, who's putting up a fine performance in his Escort. The pace is tremendous, and it's still only stage 2. John Lyons is having another super smooth drive in his Group N Lancia Delta. But the pressure is on one of the lower placed Mantas as John Kelly's G3 Escort is right on his boot lid. At the end of the stage, Coleman comes to a halt with McHale right on his tail. But Bertie Fisher and Austin Fraser have been catching both of them.
Well, the situation after the 2 stages has been the absolute surprise, total domination of the Manta 400s. Bertie Fisher, Austin McHale, and this man, John Connor, is did so well last year in the Collins car, now in 4th place overall after the first stage and really flying.
Billy, it can't be really described as having gone to plan so far.
I wouldn't say that. We said we'd start slowly and feel our way, you know, so that's what we've done. But, there's plenty of time yet.
35 seconds on the second stage was a lot of time all the same.
Oh, it was certainly a lot of time, but, you know, it was real open country there, and it was about what we thought we would be done, actually.
Bertie, you've just taken an incredible 35 seconds out of Billy Coleman on the second stage. This is quite unbelievable.
Yeah, we went quite quickly in there, Plum. It was a very fast stage, but it was very, very gravelly and an awful lot of dust. In fact, had it not been for the dust problem, it probably would have been a bigger difference, but because we drove the last 3.5 to 4 miles of the stage in the dust from Austin McHale's car, and Austin had already caught Billy at that stage, so the dust was certainly a problem on both of those stages.
And there was one particular instance in that stage where we had a call of 500 metres to a slight left, and it was just a wall of dust in front of us, and it was a case of just sensing where the bend is, and I just sensed the bend was coming up. We called and just came up with that, and but it was close.
We caught Billy about 3 miles into the stage. It was a 10-mile stage, and he held us for 7 miles, so we dropped a heap of time as well. I think Billy was the only one that really got away without the dust. Bertie dropped, I think it was 3 miles behind us, so he dropped some time. But the stage was very dusty, so it was one of them things we just got caught out in it. And
Did it annoy you?
I wouldn't say it really annoyed me, you know, it was maybe annoying at the time because we couldn't get by him and it was very dangerous and that sort of thing. But, you know, it's a long way to go in the event yet, so we're not over worried.
Glen Village on Saturday morning and the rally begins in earnest. Fisher's form is obvious, as is John Connors, the surprise second-place man overnight. But Austin McHale is closing, however, and they will tie for second place by the end of this stage. Connor is in fine form in 4th place, as is the spectacular John Kelly. Coleman's disappointing start now receives a further mighty blow. The BMW has a puncture. Eugene Donnelly, like his brother Charlie, is impressive. And Pat Cock, after a slow start, passes Eamon McAleenan's Nissan-engined Escort on this stage. Stage 4 includes the famous Kindrum Jump. Fisher flies. Connor glides. But Austin McHale takes the high jump award. Stephen Emerson and Charlie Donnelly, I'm afraid, are just one jump near disaster. Both will retire before the end of the Thanet Loop. After Kelly comes Coleman, perhaps being too precious in his precious motor car. Having practiced this notorious section, competitors don't need to be reminded of the hazard. Now it's purely a matter of bravery. For Fisher and Fraser, the Thanet stage has bad memories. On 3 previous occasions, it has claimed the Fermanagh crew, but not this time. John Connors and Sterrett Graham have now slipped to 3rd place in the Phil Collins Manta 400. Behind the Formula Shell Dealer Opel Team Ireland entry of Austin McHale and Christy Farrell. Vincent Bonner and Seamus McGettigan are only 17 seconds adrift of the top 3 Mantas in their older Opel Ascona 400. And James McDade and Rory Kennedy delight the locals by making it 3 Donegal crews in the top 5. John Galisa's Chevette is spectacularly quick here, but it'll only last 2 more stages. Jerry McVeigh in the Lotus Sunbeam is being caught by a very impressive Mike Barrable. But now the first real drama of the rally. James Cullen has rode badly up the stage, and as Joe McHugh and Joe McHale scurry through, Cullen must do 2 more stages before service in Milford. he isn't the only one in trouble.
We went off on our right-hand corner. Couldn't get back onto the road again. We got help, but it wasn't enough until the finish of the cars went by and it's too late to go again now. So that's it.
You're out of the event?
Yeah, out of it. Enjoyed it so far, but these things happen.
The RS 1800 isn't too badly damaged, but Charlie and co-driver Crawford Henderson will take an early shower. And as the Donnelly crew pack up to go home, a few feet away, chaos is about to break out. The Honda has arrived, and co-driver Ellen Morgan and James Cullen look badly shaken. It has been a very big accident.
It was quite a big one at the time, all right. It was just on the Fannet head stage. It was through slight right, or flat right, slight left, and there was a wee bump on it. Never knew it was there before, but without standard suspensions, hit the bump and it just flew straight off the road. Never touched the ground at all. You know.
Can you keep going with the car next day?
Time will tell. The next 10 minutes will say a lot, you know. We've brought it through the last one with no windscreen and leaking water and things like that, so we're going to do a bit of work on it now, and
You'd like to
we'll
keep
decide
going?
whether we'll go on or not then. We've lost an awful lot of time, you know.
You'd like to keep going?
We would, I think, yeah. We're up as far as 7 this morning after 2 stages, so it depends how far back you are, whether it's worthwhile going on to try and save some championship points in the class or Group A or something like that. We'll have to make a decision here now and see how the sledgehammers go on.
From the mechanical repairs to the Honda, to the personal repairs to Catherine Tracy. Catherine, in just a little bit of crew preparation there, as well as car preparation.
Yes, help the aerodynamics.
It's the first time you've ever been in a Group B car, a really quick machine.
Yes, it is.
What's the experience like?
It's amazing. It really is. It's terrific. I'm enjoying it immensely. A little hard on the nerves and the blood pressure, but it's a lot of fun. I'm enjoying it.
It's early afternoon in the kingdom of Fanad, but the peace is shattered by the roar of Bertie Fisher's lightweight Manta as it continues to dominate all the opposition. Austin McHale and Christy Farrell continue to press them hard. In fact, they claw a few precious seconds back, only to lose them again on a road section when they stop to fix a loose seat. The gap between the top two is over 40 seconds. Behind them, John Connor continues to impress. In the red Manta, he's hard for the event. He heads the Donegal contingent. The tea-drinking James McDade is fifth. Just behind fellow Donegal man Vincent Bonner. Billy Coleman and Ronan Morgan are back in sixth, with the Corkman starting to look a little more comfortable in the Group A BMW, but they're still 5 minutes behind the leader. Michael Barrable has problems too as he misses a turn. Pat Kirk and Kevin Keeley from Strabane have pushed their Nissan up to 7. And James Cullen is hanging in there with what remains of the little Honda. Car 48 is the escort of Brian Corey and Peter McCullough from Dromore, grinding to a halt with a well-known escort problem.
The gear levers after coming to the drift. Hey, we'll have it back down, we're going. Ah!
No gears going there, no? Hey.
Right, fire up.
Hang on.
Jerry McVeigh and Manus McKenna are just outside the top 10 in their Lotus Sunbeam. Brian Corey's escort is back on the road again and leading the chase with Seamus Gallagher's Toyota close behind. The very last of the competitors is about to take his final bend. Driver Patrick Carr, whose wife is rally press officer, explains.
We're just coming into left-hander and then right-hander. We caught the loose on the outside of the corner and she just ploughed up onto the ditch and she's bent the steering rack, so wheels are splayed out the way.
Is that the right?
I'm afraid so. That's the way to go out when you're leading the class.
But with the leaders, the friendly rivalry doesn't stop outside the rally cars.
No, you can have good fun without any rivalry and stuff, you know. We're both having a fairly clean run. We could swap in seconds really all day. And so far, neither of us are having any problems really.
You have a bit of time to make up on this, man. Can you catch him?
Well, I'm going to keep trying anyway. I keep the pressure on Bertie. I think we've had 10 seconds road penalties. And,
be careful what you say now, Austin.
if we take that away, there's only 3 seconds between us. And I think after 10 stages, that's the difference of only 3 seconds, you know. So it'll just give you an idea how close it is.
The Manta mates will continue to battle throughout the afternoon, but in the Rothmans camp, the sparkle was somehow missing.
Right from the beginning, things didn't go our way. I had a very slow start last night. Went out this morning a minute down, puncture on the first stage, which was utterly demoralising. And, well, we've been picking up a bit of time since then on the 3rd, 4th place men, but we can make absolutely no impression on the leaders, which is very disappointing.
Donegal is looking its beautiful best in the late afternoon as the cars arrive on the famous hill climb for the final run through. But first of all, a group of enthusiasts have to be moved to a safer vantage point. Fisher in the Alamac Manta just cannot shake off his great rival, and his lead could evaporate with a simple puncture. With this kind of pressure from behind, Bertie is really trying. The Sydney Meek prepared car has run faultlessly, and with Fisher's bogey stage Fanet now finally behind him, his first Donegal victory is looking more possible by the mile. Austin McHale, however, just will not give up. The triple tarmac champion desperately wants his first Donegal victory after 3 second placings in the last 4 years. As the top two battle, they relentlessly pull away from John Connors in 3rd place. The Downings driver is now over 3 minutes behind, and the Manta is sounding rough. One of the manifolds has cracked, and it should be possible to weld it at the next service halt. Now the shrill note of the Bavarian BMW bounces off the beautiful Knockalla hillside. It is music to the enthusiast's ear. And if you had to pick one stage above all others that would suit this car, this is it. The M3 BMWs lead the World Touring Car Championship, and it looks much more at home on the smooth and fast surfaces of Knockalla. Billy Coleman is followed by a brake-locking Pat Kirk, a very hard-trying Pat White, and an over-trying Eamon McAleenan. Martin McKevitt is unlikely to turn the rallying world upside down today. His sunbeam lays a smoke trail that looks expensive and terminal. Stage 16, the last in a hectic Saturday. Bertie started today with a 38-second advantage. And despite the efforts of McHale, particularly here, Austin ends the day with the same disadvantage, 38 seconds. As Vincent Bonner appears above the hedgerows, we learn that a puncture has dropped him to 7th position. Jerry McVeigh and Manus McKenna have had fuel starvation problems in the Lotus Sunbeam, but they are only just outside the top 10. While Brian Much, going very well indeed in Group N, is caught by Henry Lynch's rear-wheel drive Escort, and being the gentleman that he is, he lets him through. What's Bertie's verdict on the day?
Just try and maintain the gap. There's no point in, you know, winning by 1 second is as good as by 1 hour, so I don't think we want to try and increase it. We just want to try and hold it steady. Every stage you do is obviously more that Austin's got to take off on the next one, so...
Well, now the pace is absolutely furious. Are you being forced into a pace that you feel a little bit uncomfortable in?
No, it's obviously a very, very hot pace, but we haven't really had any moments all day. It's not been ragged, it's just all come together, and so far it's not been a problem, but there's no doubt I wouldn't like to be going much quicker.
We'll try and pull back some time to drive, and I think that the other thing tomorrow is that there's only 40 stage miles, which doesn't leave an awful lot of time, but anything can happen, and we'll definitely try anyway.
Day 3 dawns with Donegal looking as beautiful as ever, but there's a threat of rain in the air. Overnight, the Sydney Meek service crew has switched rear axles on Fisher's Manta in preparation for the crucial Atlantic drive stage. Meanwhile, McHale has been psyching himself up for a fierce final assault on that top position. But as the battle resumes, it's Fisher driving at 10 tenths and forcing an epic performance out of the Opel. McHale not only loses 3 seconds to the Fermanagh man, but loses the psychological battle as well. John Connor, the Downing's publican, is enjoying his home stages, and Vincent Bonner's Ascona remains trouble-free. Louise Nolan will soon have a major accident, but she'll escape serious injury. Suddenly, there's a change in the weather. The rain, which has been threatening all morning, finally arrives. Fisher slows a little, and McHale makes up a few seconds. John Lyons has steadily brought his show-in Lancia well into the top 10. But Pat White and Catherine Tracy are finding things a little slippery. Against all the odds, James Cullen and Ellen Morgan head for the finish in the battered Honda, complete with flapping door. Back in the service area at Downing's, the talk is all about the weather and the choice of tyres. The weather is unpredictable. For most crews, it's a case of safety first as they choose intermediate tyres to cope with wet and dry conditions. The rally nears its end with Billy Coleman still struggling to find his real form. James McDade and Rory Kennedy have had a fine drive in the Opel Manta. And so too has Vincent Bonner, another local man. Pat Kirk's Nissan is about to retire with rear axle trouble, as John Lyons heads for home in the four-wheel drive Delta. But poor Austin McHale ends his rally in misery as a broken fuel pipe costs him 4 minutes, and he then crashes out on the very last stage. As a helicopter searches for Louise Nolan's crashed Escort, the rain starts to come down with a vengeance. But fortunately, though it's damp for the spectators, the rain comes too late to affect the final results. Crews head for Letterkenny, knowing that Bertie Fisher has secured his first win in Donegal at last. And by the time they arrive at the finish ramp, there's a huge crowd there to greet him. And every one of the fans appreciated another stunning performance from the man who retired from the sport last year. But this elusive first Donegal win was a long time coming.
I've been coming here since I think about 72 or 73, and I've probably had more accidents in Donegal than anyone else ever had either, but no, it's been a fantastic weekend.
We've led the rally from the very first stage, and we've never lost the lead, and we haven't had a problem with the car.
You're starting to make a habit of this, leading rallies right from the start. That's 2 outings, 2 wins. I mean, what's the secret of this new success?
I don't know. I think I don't retire often enough, probably.
The final placings looked like this. First, Bertie Fisher. John Connors and James McDade made it 2nd and 3rd for Donegal. Billy Coleman finished 4th. Vincent Bonner was 5th. John Lyons, an amazing 6th in the near standard Lancia.